Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today for my Vlogmas video, I'm going to be doing a book talk video. Only this time we're not going to be talking about one particular book, we're going to be talking about a few different ones. Because today we're going to be doing a book tag. And I found this tag on Lauren Wade's channel. And let me just pull up the questions here. The tag is called the Christmas Carol book tag, so I thought that was cute and season appropriate. The book I was reading this week, I got so caught up in Vlogmas that I didn't spend as much time reading this week as I normally would, so I didn't want to power through it and not enjoy it, so we're going to do that one next week. And then we're going to do the adults, the Christmas book the week after. So, let's just get into the questions. Question number 1 is called The Ghost of Christmas Past. And it says, a book that was a childhood favorite. And for that, I'm going to go with the Anna Green Gables book, especially the first one, Anna Green Gables. I just loved her so much, so much when I was a kid. I couldn't get enough. Eventually, when I got a little older, I was an adult at that time and had my own daughter. She was only, I don't know, 3 or 4 at the time. But I finally got to go to PEI, which stands for Prince Edward Island, if you're unaware. And that's where Anna Green Gables takes place, and I got to go and see the Green Gables house, and they have, like, they really lean into that as their tourism, and there's just so much to see. The town of Avonlea is recreated, and it's just so beautiful, and I felt like a little girl again when I got to go and see the house, walk through the house. It was just wonderful. And yeah, I have so many pleasant memories attached to that book as a child, reading it with my mom or my grandmother, and then even watching the movies. It was so wonderful. So, Anna Green Gables. Question number 2, The Ghost of Christmas Present. A recent book that you think will become one of your all-time favorites. That's an easy one. One of the recent books that I read that has already become one of my all-time favorites, and I only read it I think 2 years ago probably, and it's called All My Puny Sorrows by Miriam Tave. If you have not read it and you like a good book about family that's going to pull at your heartstrings, and then once it's done pulling on them, it's going to break your heart in two, I definitely recommend this book. It's so good. It's so good, and it's semi-autobiographical. And it's just so good. So read it. Question number 3, The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. A book coming next year that you're most excited about. And for that one, for right now, I'm going to go with If It Bleeds by Stephen King, which is going to be his latest collection of short stories coming out next year, or novellas rather. There's going to be 4 stories in the book, and I really love Stephen King when he's working with short stories. I feel like that's really his forte. He's so good at them. So I just love when he's got a new shorter story collection coming out. Question number 4, Bah Humbug. A book that everyone else loves that you just can't stand. That's an interesting question. I don't know for a particular specific book, but I will say that I know so many people who just love YA books. YA stands for young adult, and I just can't get into them. I mean, not all of them. I've loved Harry Potter, and I liked the Hunger Games series, but aside from that, I just can't really get into many YA books. So I guess that would be an appropriate answer to that question. Because yeah, I can't think of a book in particular that everybody loved that I didn't like. Alright, let's see what's next. Question number 5, Bob Cratchit. An old dependable that you always recommend. For this one, I'm going to go with kind of an author and his series of books, and that's going to be Stuart McLean and his Vinyl Cafe series. I know I recently recommended Christmas at the Vinyl Cafe, but just the Vinyl Cafe series in general, there's probably 10 to 15 books. They're just short story collections about this one particular family, Dave and Morley, and their 2 kids. And I feel like it's the kind of thing you can recommend to anybody, and just everyone will get something out of it, because they're so funny and they're just so heartwarming. And Stuart McLean is was such a talented writer, and I will just never stop singing his praises. So whenever anybody asks for a recommendation, I'm like, Stuart McLean, just go there, start with that. Question number 6, Tiny Tim, an underhyped book that you think deserves more love. I don't know if it's underhyped. In general, but I just haven't heard much about it. And that is the book Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. And I think just in general, she's an underappreciated author. She has 2 books out. They're both so good. Everything I Never Told You was her debut novel, and so far it's my favorite. It's so good. Her writing is so good. She's so engaging, and I am on the edge of my seat, just anxiously anticipating her next release. Question number 7 today. Why, it's Christmas Day. What's a book that always gets you in the mood for Christmas apart from A Christmas Carol? Well, that would be obviously Christmas at the Vinyl Cafe. I talk about it nonstop, we know this. But if I'm going back a little further, one that has forever gotten me in the Christmas mood, that would be Little Women. It's my favorite Christmas story in general. It just, everything about it gets me in the mood for Christmas. It's such a sweet story. I love those characters as if they are members of my own family. I feel that close to them. And it's just the perfect Christmas story. And then, let me see here. The final question is question number 8. The Muppet Christmas Carol. Your favorite film adaptation of a book. I'm gonna give a couple responses to that one just because there's so many that I do like. For instance, Little Women. I loved I think it was 1995 version of the film with Winona Ryder and Kirsten Dunst and Susan Sarandon and Christian Bale. I fell in love with Christian Bale as Laurie in that film. He's just so good. I see that there's a new version of the film coming out this Christmas that has, I think it's Timothée Chalamet as Laurie this time around, I think. And just a bunch of really talented young actors in it. And I can't wait to see it, honestly. It looks like it's going to be good, and I love any adaptation of Little Women. The Harry Potter adaptations, I thought that was great. I thought they were all fantastic. That was a family experience for us. My husband, my daughter, we all love Harry Potter so much. And I didn't read Harry Potter when it first came out. It wasn't until my daughter was born and got a little older and she got interested in Harry Potter that I read it. And it was such an experience reading the books with her and then watching the movies with her. And it was just wonderful. Another one I really liked, which isn't quite a big a production as that, is The Hours by Michael Cunningham. That was made into a film starring Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman and Julianne Moore, and it was fantastic. The book is fantastic. If you love books about literary figures, this one is a little bit about Virginia Woolf. Nicole Kidman plays her. It's just amazing. So the Virginia Woolf storyline's one, and then there's another storyline and another storyline, and they're all kind of in different time periods, but they all kind of weave together. It's just a perfect movie, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. So there you go. Those are all my answers to the Christmas Carol book tag. This was so fun. I'm gonna leave the questions down below if you would like to answer them yourself, and I'll leave a link to Lauren Wade's video as well if you want to hear her answers. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day and are having a good weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye guys.